Over the past 3 years, I've worked with hundreds of basketball players and helped them achieve their basketball goals. I've reached over 2 million players worldwide, and I've received acclaim from NBA level trainers and former pros. And here are my top pieces of advice when it comes to basketball, from how to structure your training to studying film. So, get your popcorn ready and enjoy. Improving at the game of basketball for most players feels like a long and slow process, especially if they don't know what they're doing. But that doesn't have to be the case with you. My success came from 5 core principles that completely changed how I trained and how I thought about the game. If you take this seriously, you'll start improving so fast, it feels unfair. And the best part is, any basketball player can do this. Let's get into it. The difficulty of your workout schedule should be equal to the size of your goals. If you want to be great, you can't live the same way average people live. During my sophomore year of high school, I struggled to get any playing time on varsity. I rode the bench the entire year, except towards the end of the season. I was subbed into one of our division rivalry games because our star player got into early foul trouble. So I took his spot. Now that was surprising. But what I didn't tell you, and what most people didn't see, is that behind the scenes for that entire season, I worked out 2 to 3 times a day, every single day of the year. Shoot, man, I didn't even hang out with my friends that much during my high school years. Like, I didn't have time to waste. It's a sacrifice. But depending on the level of your goal, it requires an equal amount of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice everything that gets in your way. Now that you understand what it takes to be great, let me help you get there. Principle number 1 is have a plan. One of my favorite authors, Napoleon Hill, has a quote: plan your work and work your plan. Before my sophomore year, all of my basketball workouts were based on what I felt like I should work on. I never wrote down a workout plan or anything like that. I just winged it. Shockingly, not having a plan didn't go well. I wasn't improving my skills effectively. Let's think about this. Over time, if we don't train a specific skill, that skill gets worse. If you don't practice shooting for an entire month, let's say your shooting attribute goes down by 5. On the other hand, for a month, if you train shooting every single day, it may improve by 5. See, bodybuilders know this, and they structure their workouts in such a way that they hit every muscle group they need to in their workouts. If they work out upper body on Mondays, on Tuesdays, they'll hit legs, for example. Or they'll never hit legs, because legs is not fun. But each workout for upper body or lower body is different in order to hit the muscles that they didn't hit the last time they worked out. So now, understanding this principle, you need to plan your workouts accordingly. For this example, let's say shooting is your biggest weapon. You need to practice shooting every day. But to make sure you're not a one-dimensional player, you need to incorporate training in different skills. Here's an example of a training schedule that you can use for yourself. Sundays are going to be your rest day. Monday to Saturday, have a shooting workout. Ball handling will be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Finishing will be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So on every single day, you're working 2 completely different skill sets, but you're always getting your shooting work in. Multiple short workouts are much better than one long training session. Let's say we had 2 basketball players. All variables are the same, such as their height, weight, body type, sleep, diet, etc. Everything is the same. If both players spent the same amount of total time training per week, but one player had 1 long session 3 days a week, while the other split his workouts into multiple shorter sessions and trained 6 days a week, who's going to improve faster? My guess would be the guy who split his workouts into multiple shorter sessions. He can get more out of every training session. If you have a 3-hour-long intense basketball workout, you will be exhausted about halfway through, or at least not at your peak in about an hour. The next 2 hours of the workout may be beneficial for like your mental toughness, but the quality of your reps will be diminished. To add on to my reasoning, muscle memory is crucial in basketball. Have you ever come back from spring break to the first practice and forgot how to dribble a basketball? To improve fast at basketball, you need to reinforce your muscle memory as much as humanly possible. I want to give you an analogy, and I hope it makes sense. Whenever you train, basketball touches certain spots in your brain to activate it. The more touch points you give it, the better. This is the method Kobe Bryant used to surpass everyone as a kid.
But it's simple. Like if you do the math on this, right? Like if you're thinking about how often kids are playing, if you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 2-3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe, an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
All it took was one summer of splitting his workouts throughout the day and staying consistent. And by that point, shoot, it was too late for everybody else. Now, understanding those two principles alone will already help you improve faster than most basketball players. But if you don't apply this next principle, you are missing out on something that could really accelerate your growth. All right, so principle number 3 is something that I used even back in middle school. But I went about it in the wrong way for years, and it wasn't until this year when I figured it all out. You must set tangible goals. What the heck is a tangible goal? The definition of tangible is perceptible by touch, clear and definite, real. The definition of a goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. Now, for something to be a tangible goal, it must have the ability to be measured and be perceptible by touch. You can't say, oh, my goal is to be the best basketball player I can be, because that isn't measurable and that's not tangible. That is an effect of tangible work, but that's not really a goal. Instead, ask yourself, what do I have to do in order to become the best basketball player I can be? Then, based on your answers, set your goals. For example, I will train X amount of hours a day, Y days a week, with Z amount of intensity. Let me reiterate the part when I said tangible goals can be measured and perceptible by touch. You can measure stats. You can measure progress. You can't measure emotion. Declaring that you'll become the best player you can be is an empty promise, because you'll never know if you became the best player you can possibly be. Your potential is limitless. For a goal to be perceptible by touch, it must be something that has a specific destination or moment when you can say, I achieved this. I accomplished what I set out to do. Being the best you can be is an ongoing process, and it never ends until you stop playing. Tangible goals are in your control. There are no outside factors in play. The only thing that will stop you from achieving your goals is you. And that is the greatest game to play. Principle number 4, you must experiment in pickup and off-season games. That is the time to add to your bag and become a better player overall. You can take the time to learn what works and what doesn't, but most basketball players are so afraid to make a mistake in organized basketball. Understandably so. They fear making a mistake, getting subbed out, and having to ride the bench the rest of the game because the coach has a short leash on them. That's understandable. But the great players don't have to worry about that, because even if they make 20 mistakes, they won't get subbed out. So if you're tired of getting subbed out because you made one mistake, you got to become so good that the coach has to play you. My dad has always been in my corner, but there's one thing that he will never let me get away with. That being having a victim mindset. My dad and I had long conversations about how I wasn't getting playing time and that I deserved more and blah, blah, blah. But one day, my dad said something to me that I've carried with me into the rest of my life, including you two. He said, if you are working as hard as you can and you're not getting the results you want, you're probably working the wrong way. He described to me that I was so intense and that I could never relax in games, and that was holding me back. He taught me to work harder than everyone in practice, but develop the emotional control to drop the tenseness during game. That's how I play my best. So step 1, become so good that your coach has to play you. And step 2, let go and have fun. And step 3, experiment in games and try new things. This final principle is what will keep your success intact. If you follow the principles outlined in this video, you will grow to be very successful. And that's great. But if you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, I can tell you from personal experience, your life will come crashing down. Here's a passage from the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24 to 28. Then Jesus told his disciples, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done. Truly I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Amen. My interpretation of that last line is that people will never taste the death of their false selves, or in other words, their ego, until they meet Jesus. Paul tells us that we must die to ourselves daily. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that is tough for me to do. When I was younger, I believed that becoming a great basketball player would solve all my problems and I would become a new person. But no, I was the same old person with the same old problems, but I was good at basketball. Little did I know that if anyone is in Christ, old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. Look to Jesus Christ, trust in him, and he will fill that void in your heart. If you're anything like me, I know you feel like something is missing in your life. You're doing all the right things, but you just feel off. God is calling you. Answer the call and surrender your life to Jesus Christ when you feel ready. He will wait as long as it takes. He loves you and wants the best for you. And so do I. Since you got this far into the video, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to a free group video call with me so I can show you how to increase your scoring average by up to 30% or more in just 8 games. Please ask your parents' permission because they must be on the call with you. And as a bonus gift, just by attending the video call, if you stay till the end, I will give you a 90-day basketball workout plan plus a workout tracker for absolutely free. Join my free school community with the link in the description. Then when you're in that community, you will see the calendar tab. The webinar will be on that calendar. You can get ahead of 99% of high school basketball players this year because it's never been this easy to succeed. Just take a look at your competition. They scroll for 7 hours a day, they party on the weekends, and they only kind of want to be successful. But you have the potential to be different. We're starting at the bottom, and step by step, I am going to walk you through the exact advice that will level you up until you reach that top 1%. You ever heard the quote, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, crawl. When it comes to basketball, a lot of players want to just fly right away. Sometimes literally. But if you don't know how to fly, let alone walk, that's going to be a tough landing. So we need to set the foundation for ourselves. It's boring and tedious, but the fundamentals are what will propel you forward so you can bag higher level skills. Once you get the basics down, then you can start experimenting and adding new moves to your bag and creating your own unique play style. But you gotta master the basics first. The fundamentals are a collection of core basketball skills that every player needs, no matter what position they are or their level of play. If I had to give a roadmap to a basketball beginner, these are the fundamental skills that I would teach them. How to shoot a basketball with maximum comfortability, speed, and accuracy. 2. How to perform an underhand layup and an overhand layup with both hands. Number 3. Footwork without dribbling the basketball. For example, jab steps and pivots. Number 4. How to shift your weight from one side of your body to the other quickly. And number 5. How to position yourself on defense and play without crossing your feet. This might not seem like that many skills, however, the subsets of each of the fundamental skills will carry over to the rest of their game. Your game is just like a house. If your foundation is weak, you cannot stand. So master the fundamentals first, then add the decorations. The next 20% of the way there is time management. Manage your time wisely. The amount of training you need to do if you want to perform better than 99% of other high school basketball players is about 10 to 18 hours per week. That's about 2 to 3 hours per day, 5 to 6 days a week. That's not even including weight training. That's just basketball. Now, if you're trying to tell me, we don't have time for all that, let me see if I can help you. If you're just making excuses, I know you won't actually listen to this, but let's break down the average high school or school day. In this example, I am generalizing all of these times for simplicity. Between school and sleep, that already eliminates 14 of our 24 hours in a day. 4 hours spent scrolling on our phones brings us down to 6. 1 hour of homework, 5. Eating, 4. Hygiene, 3. And 2 hours of gaming leaves us with 1 hour left. If you are telling me you don't have time, you are lying to yourself. Even with terrible time management, you still have 1 hour that you can dedicate to basketball training, realistically. Now, that won't get you in the top 1%, but at least it's something. Not to mention, if you remove some of those bad habits like scrolling on your phone, you will save even more time. Now, the problem could also be a lack of energy to train. That means you should do 2 things. Fix your sleep and fix your diet. Go to bed earlier. Eat less sugary and processed foods. Don't eat like crap. Keep it simple. Now let me tell you some of the time management tactics I used when I was training 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, and I still managed to get straight A's in high school. And on top of that, I was posting weekly YouTube videos, like the one you're watching right now. If I could give you just one time management tip in high school, it would be this. Finish all of your homework in school. Do your homework during lunch, then eat during your other classes. Last year, I went to the school library every single day during lunch. I also asked one of my algebra teachers to tutor me, And he was able to about 3 times a week. And without his tutoring, shoot, I would not have gotten an A in that class. Shout out to Mr. T. Make a promise to yourself that you will get all of your work done before you get home. If you have downtime in one of your classes, man, do the work from a different class. Some teachers get kind of upset about this, which I never understood. Like, they're like, why are you doing somebody else's work in my class? But like, if you have a teacher that doesn't care, just do it in their class. If you allow your school time to invade your personal life, that becomes a problem. Of course, sometimes you do need to study extra, or you got that one annoying assignment. But if you lock in during the 7 hours of the school day, you will free yourself for the rest of the evening. Number 2 is increase your typing speed. Think about it. If you have a 5,000 word essay, right? Ignoring the time to think and prepare, imagine your typing speed is the average, 40 words per minute. That means you will spend 2 hours just typing. Now let's double your typing speed to 80 words per minute, which is actually really easy to get to. You will split the time in half. Number 3, this is where the discipline really comes in. No fun activities until you accomplish everything. Wait until the end of the day when you do the fun stuff. You don't need as much mental energy to hop on video games for a bit and scroll on your phone. Save your mental and physical energy for the productive stuff. You'll feel much better enjoying your favorite activities anyway because you don't have anything hanging over your head. Number 4, combine activities to save time. If you like to scroll on your phone, that's fine. Just combine it with something that you were already doing. For example, scroll while you're eating, so then once you stop eating, you stop scrolling. You're going to be spending time eating anyway, so if you want to get your fix for scrolling, just do it at the same time as you eat. Imagine the progress that you could be making if you just manage your time a little bit better. Where would you be a month from now? 5 months from now? 6 months from now? A year from now? All because you made a little change with how you manage your time. I need water. I feel like I'm going through puberty again, bro. I'm voice cracking like crazy. Stay hydrated. All right, we back. 99% of high school basketball players lack one of 2 things. Number 1, a solid work ethic. Or 2, confidence. Work hard and be consistent. There's no negotiation with that. Now, confidence is tough. I know. But luckily for you, I made a full guide on how to build basketball confidence. So you should check that out after this video is done. The final bottom 80% component is watch film and study it. 99% of high school basketball players don't watch enough film. The biggest reason is they don't know how. Well, that's no excuse for you because I have a couple of videos on my channel talking about how to watch film. So check those out after this video. But watching film not only increases your basketball IQ, but it also increases your comfortability on the court. Once I began to watch film a ton, I realized the game slowed down for me. It's a great feeling, man, and I recommend it to every basketball player out there. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. Like, when the game slows down, it feels like you've seen everything before. And it's kind of because you have. Like, when you watch enough film, whatever the defense throws at you, you know how to deal with it. That's actually kind of cool. I guess that's a good way to describe it. Now we're entering the top 20% territory. These 2 components will separate you from the rest. I gotta hydrate again. Hold up. Not sponsored by this water brand. Isn't it crazy that water has brands? Like, the next component is learn how to be a leader. Most high school kids nowadays are afraid of being cringe. They are deathly afraid of embarrassing themselves. And this is why it is so tough to get high school basketball players to be loud or just talk on defense, or like to just talk in general. Finding a great leader is even more rare. I'll be honest with y'all. There were moments when I was a cornball trying to lead my team. I had the right intentions, but it came off like a 2000s Disney show. Alright guys, I know we're down by 30, but if we band together as a team, we can still do this! Get out! Alright, jokes aside, there's 2 things that I've always had as a player that have made me a leader. The first is an intense desire to win. I wanted not only to win on the scoreboards, but I wanted every single one of my teammates to win within their own minds. I wanted them to be happy with themselves, motivated to work hard, and of course, ultimately, I wanted them to play their best, so then we could win the game. Now, there were times when I felt like a jerk because I had to point out things that I didn't like for my teammates. And unfortunately, That's part of being a leader, not accepting BS. But the one rule I always had for myself when it came to telling people to do something was I can never tell somebody to do something if I didn't already do it. Leading by example is crucial. If I tell one of my teammates to dive on the floor for a loose ball, Lord knows, I've done it countless times. The difference between a leader and somebody that just bosses other people around is that the leader is in the trenches with the rest of his team. And the second thing that made me a leader was that I did not care that people would judge me or make fun of me for my will to win. That's the one thing I never got upset about when people made fun of me. They can make fun of other things that I might have taken it personally back in the day, but that was the one thing that I've always held strong. If you have an intense desire to win like me, don't ever let people change that part of you. Losers are very quick to make fun of winners if winners don't go about winning in the perfect way. And quick reminder, there is no perfect way. I knew that my leadership may have been corny at times. You know, one of my teammates once said to me, "You know, Mark, sometimes your speeches were corny, but they helped me every single time." And that meant the world to me. Making an impact was all I wanted. Even now, after high school basketball, some of my teammates still hit me up for leadership advice. Be the leader you have the potential to be. Find your own unique style and lift up your team. Now, would you believe me if I told you that the last 10% component I'm about to tell you is of more value than all of the other components combined? The last 10% is to have faith in Jesus Christ. Matthew 17:20. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a grain of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Amen. Are you tired of spending hours in the gym just to see your buddies who don't even work hard play better than you? This is how to get so good at basketball you'll question why you ever struggled and finally achieve your goals. Let's go. Number 1, set astronomically large goals. Create a mental image of a goal that seems so outrageous that it doesn't even make sense to you right now. If the goal feels achievable, it's not big enough. Even if you don't hit every goal, the sheer size of the goals will push you to things others may have thought were impossible, and things that you may have thought were impossible too. And now here's the thing. As a 5'9" unathletic kid, I was MVP, and I made first team all conference twice. So if I can do it, man, any of y'all can do it. Number 2, train a little crazy. Forget the PC, politically correct way of training, and stop looking to find the newest TikTok drill that's gonna level you up faster. Stop. Real improvement comes from a huge volume of repetitions. To give you an example of the sheer volume of reps you need, when I was in high school, I made between 300 to 400 shots every single day. Let me tell you something. The weird training you see online from the TikTokers, the Instagrammers, the YouTubers, whatever, the people that tell you to do these obscure drills that look really weird and you can't even figure out what they're helping you to get better at, don't do those drills. Straight up. I have a story to share with y'all, man. One morning during the off season of my sophomore year of high school, I was in the gym training with another player. Mind you, in my sophomore year of high school, I scored 13 varsity points on the season. He was one of the top scorers in AAU in New Jersey. He was averaging about 30 points a game. We were both exhausted near the end of the workout. You know that type of exhaustion when your body just completely shuts down and every drill just feels like you're walking with concrete shoes? Yeah, that's how tired we were, bro. But our trainer looked at us and said, "You two are being soft. You're never too tired to move at game speed." That line hit me hard, bro, because that wasn't just basketball. It was about life. He was saying, you think you're tired, but you're just being comfortable. You've reached the point where most people stop. From that day forward, I trained differently. When I got tired, I leaned in. I realized my limits weren't real. They were all mental. David Goggins actually speaks about that a lot. I believe he calls it the 40% rule. When your body believes that it can't go any further, it's actually 40% of the way to complete exhaustion, something like that. Anyway, most people quit when things get uncomfortable. The difference between average and elite isn't talent. It's what you do when your body and mind are begging you to stop. But if you keep going and you go at full speed, you will reap the rewards. By the way, please train responsibly. Don't die, okay? Number 3, don't take what others say as fact. People will not see your vision. Only you will. So when the doubters, the haters, and the jealous people appear in your life, don't pay much mind to them, alright? Their negativity is a mirror reflecting their own weaknesses. Other people's doubt and their hate is confirmation that you are on the right track. You're doing something right. There's an old quote. People want to see you succeed, but they don't want you to succeed more than them. Number 4, don't let your failures make you feel stupid. You will fall hard many times. Defining moments come when you keep going despite all the pain. Alright, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Something that I've memorized is a quote from the Rocky movies. I can say it verbatim right now. Let's get it. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Great movies. Number 5. Obsess over basketball, but keep the fun alive. Obsession is required to be elite. There's no question about it. But obsession without enjoyment leads to burnout. I want you to love the game so much that you can't even put the ball down. When I was in high school, I was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. And people started to notice my obsession. They actually made jokes about it, like, oh, whenever Mark picks up a basketball, it's like a moth to a flame, you know, but I was the basketball guy because of my obsession. But I also loved it. That obsession is what really fueled my growth as a player. And by having fun with the game and truly enjoying it, I was motivated to practice. I talk about this with players I speak to in my community. By the way, top link in the description. A lot of them deal with burnout, and I always tell them, dude, get back to why you love it. Why do you love basketball? Make it fun again. It's so common to lose sight of the game and try to be perfect. Get the best stat line, have the best game, but basketball is not about that. It's not. Basketball is a game, and it's meant to be fun. You can improve while having fun. I teach that in my community, top link in the description. Number 6, have a killer lifestyle. Your diet has to be in check. Your sleep has to be in check. By the way, I didn't focus on sleep enough. That was a mistake of mine. And your time management has to be in check. Most high school basketball players will neglect these things. Being disciplined in every area gives you an edge over everyone else that just doesn't do that. And number 7, lean on your faith. Trust in Jesus Christ. He will give you the strength that you need. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your path. You keep getting shut down in games, and every time you try to read the defense, it just blows up in your face. I was stuck there too. So I'll break down the 3-part system I used for IQ, film study, and gameplay that took me from 13 varsity points to 410 in just one offseason, along with the film study secret my coach gave me to spot the little details that make a big difference. We're starting with personal IQ because most players overlook this, and if you're one of those players, it's costing you a lot of playing time. But the good news is it's one of the simplest fixes you can implement into your game. The first fix within the personal IQ section is to memorize your team's sets and to know your role within them. This may sound obvious, but if you don't know the plays like the back of your hand, you are shooting yourself in the foot. But here's what most players don't understand. Knowing the plays isn't just about knowing where you go. It's about knowing where everyone goes. This is what will allow you to make the correct reads in games because you will know where your teammates will be. That means you'll be able to lead your teammates into passes, you can correct the spacing, and you can force the defense to work harder. Here's how to get to this level of understanding of your team's sets and your role. The first way is easy. If your coach has the plays printed out on a piece of paper, study them. Look to see where everyone goes, and steal my method to memorize them. The method is this. First, look over the plays a ton. Then, flip over the page and draw them from memory. After you can draw the play from memory over and over, envision what it looks like in real time. Then boom, you just fixed one of the biggest problems in your game. Now, if your coach doesn't hand out paper copies of the plays, don't worry. You can still memorize your sets. It might just be a bit more difficult. So first, ask your coach if he actually does have a paper copy. You'd be surprised because a lot of coaches do have them, they just don't give them out to all the team. Now, if that doesn't work, you'll have to try the second way. Take a look at the film of your team playing and draw out everyone's movement. Then you'll be able to memorize it with the method I already gave you. If you don't have film, in practice, when you are going over your sets, pay attention to everyone's movement. Then, during water breaks, write it down. Then, by the time the practice is over, you would have your own little cheat sheet, and you can follow my method once again. Now, that's the first part of the personal IQ section. This next part is what makes the difference in your success as a basketball player in the long term. Have you ever noticed when you make a mistake, it often snowballs into 2 or 3, and then you get subbed out? I've worked with a lot of players now, thanks be to God for the opportunity, and I've learned that players who never seem to get rattled by mistakes are often the ones who have a present-focused mindset. The reason why one mistake often leads to more mistakes is because you are stuck in the past. You're allowing the mistake you made to cause you shame or anger or even worry. But the moment you change your perspective and live in the present moment, you'll find that mistakes no longer affect you in the same way. Take this quote from Albert Einstein himself. Past is dead. Future is uncertain. Present is all you have. So eat and drink and live merry. The past is dead, man. It is done. It's gone. And the only life it has is the life that you give it. That's a bar, man. Oof. Just focus on the now. The final part of the personal IQ section is one that separates the average players from the all-star performers. Is there somebody that you've played basketball against your whole life? I remember growing up, and even still today, when my brother and I 1v1, it's funny because he's one of the only people who predicts my moves. And since he's able to do that, I have to get deeper into my bag, and that can be uncomfortable. But since I've played against him so much, I know his defensive patterns too. So I can take advantage of that. So if you want to be a lockdown defender, or you want to make somebody look silly on defense, you need to get into the minds of your opponents. Even though you might not have ever played against them, after a few possessions, you can start to notice patterns. This requires an obsession like no other. You gotta be playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. So here's what you should look for in your opponents. You might want to take notes or screenshot this. Let's start with you being the defender. Number 1, are they a righty or a lefty? Are they more comfortable driving one way than the other? If so, force them to their weaknesses. Number 2, where is their shooting pocket? Is it their right or left hip? Do they have it in the middle of their body? Do they start a bit higher than usual? Wherever it is, stick your hand in their shooting pocket constantly. Number 3, what's their go-to move? Do they like a crossover? Do they like the in and out? Whatever it is, sit on that move. Take away their bread and butter. All right, now as the offensive player, here's what you should look for. Number 1, is your defender playing on their heels, their toes, or the balls of their feet? Heels means you can drive and step back. Toes means you can blow by them with a hesitation. And balls of their feet doesn't give you a real advantage. Number 2, are they forcing you to a side? Is one of their feet higher than the other? If so, attack that top foot. Number 3, are their hands high? If not, don't be afraid to shoot. Hand down, man down. Those are just some basic reads you can make to get into the minds of your opponent. There's a lot more minor details that you can notice and implement, but just start with that for now. Hey guys, if you got this far into the video, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to a free group video call with me so I can show you how to increase your scoring average by up to 30% or more in just 8 games. Please ask your parents' permission because they must be on the call with you. And as a bonus gift, just by attending the video call, if you stay till the end, I will give you a 90-day basketball workout plan plus a workout tracker for absolutely free. Join my free school community with the link in the description. Then when you're in that community, you will see the calendar tab. The webinar will be on that calendar. I hope it helps, and God bless y'all. On to part 2 of the video. This is the film study section. And by the way, if you don't have your own film, don't worry. I'll show you what you can do. You're not in the dark. I got you. And as promised, I will show you the film study secret that my coach gave me when I was in high school that allowed me to spot the little details that make a big difference. All right. In my junior year of high school, I was sitting on the bench watching the JV game next to my varsity head coach. My coach is giving me advice on, how I've been playing, and at the time, I was doing well. And I was young and dumb. So I developed a bit of an ego. And I will never forget this. I made some arrogant comment to my coach because I was smelling myself, And my coach looked at me, and he calmly took out his phone, and he said, "Let's look at the film." And I lie to you not, for the next 25 minutes, my coach grilled me, man. He showed me everything that I did wrong, and it was a lot. But he knew I needed to see and hear that. I felt so stupid afterwards, but that helped me in growing as a player. So the secret that my coach gave me on that day, was in order to get the most out of your film studies, you must watch film in slow motion. The mistakes he pointed out to me were ones that I never saw before because I watched the same games at full speed. But slowing everything down makes the little details you never noticed before obvious. Now, the next part of the film study section is something that is never taught to basketball players, and it's a real shame. It's helped me so much in my film studies, and it's something that you can start doing today. You may have been taught to take notes while you watch film, right? But just randomly writing stuff down doesn't really help. Separate your notes into 4 categories: mistakes, missed opportunities, good plays, and good reads. Mistakes and good plays are self-explanatory. Missed opportunities are the moments in games where you could have been aggressive, but you played passive. And good reads are when you make the right play, but the possession didn't end the way you wanted. Let's say you made a nice pass to a teammate who smoked the layup. Damn it, Billy. So this will show you what you need to fix, and it will show you that even though you may have thought you played badly in a game, you actually had some good plays and good reads that you forgot about. Be specific in your notes. One thing you'll notice is that your biggest mistakes will repeat. Put a star next to them and make it your focus to fix them. By the way, guys, this is what one of my old notebooks looked like after I did this for just one of my games. You can get a lot of stuff on this page. Now, the last part of the film study section is how to find film to study, or knowing what film you should study. First and foremost, if you have your own film, study that. And if you have a game coming up, watch your opponent's film to get in their head and recognize their patterns. Now, you'll also want to study higher level film. That could be college, NBA, FIBA, whatever you can get access to. There you go. Study players and teams that remind you of your own play style. Your team sets may be the same as some college team sets, for example. When I was in high school, one of our sets was the same as BYU's. So I studied BYU so I could see what our plays looked like when they were ran to perfection. I also studied players that I wanted to play like. I knew that I wasn't the most athletic, so I didn't bother really studying some of the high flyers and the speed demons, I studied players like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, JJ Redick, Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic, Steve Nash, John Stockton, Kobe Bryant, Hakeem Olajuwon, and a bunch of other players that fit into that niche. Now, don't get it twisted. You can learn from any great player. Shoot, I learned a lot from Michael Jordan. Do I play like him? Absolutely not. But success leaves footprints. So we might as well follow those footprints, right? All right, now we are moving into the last part of my 3-part system to studying the game of basketball. Implementing what I'm about to share with you is what will take your game to the next level and change the course of your basketball career. So quick side note, I've been working with this player for about a month now, and one of the first things that I taught him was what I'm about to teach you right now. And here's what his mom texted me after seeing his progress. What I want you to do to get similar results to my player is use the 4 types of advantages. Now, what are the 4 types of advantages, you may ask? Well, it's simple. You can take advantage of the numbers on a fast break, or if somebody overextends on defense, taking them out of the play. You can take advantage of speed if you are faster than your opponent. You can take advantage of your height or strength if you are taller or stronger. And last, the most common and anyone can use is the momentum advantage. You can use this if somebody is closing out or leans in on one of your dribbles. If you keep the 4 types of advantages at the forefront of your mind in games, you'll subconsciously play smarter. Next, keep your head up. Pretty self-explanatory, but in order to be a smart basketball player, you have to see the whole floor. And the final piece of advice in this entire video is something that all the great players have mastered. This will allow you to score at will. This will change your offensive game more than anything. Take what the defense gives you. If you want to learn how to master that yourself, click this video. Principle number 1, constant movement is key. Throughout my basketball career, I have learned that off-ball movement is so important when it comes to scoring more points. The reason why is because it tires out the defense and it puts you in scoring positions. Stephen Curry is the master at this. Everybody refers to him when we talk about off-ball movement.
Proud husband of Aisha Curry, proud son of Del Curry, proud daddy of the Boston Celtics.
Now, the only way to get to this point is to improve your endurance. Running sprints, running for long distance. You have to do those things if you want to score more points. You cannot let your conditioning get in the way. So bottom line, the more you move, the more scoring opportunities you give yourself. Numero dos, exploit mismatches. When you're matched up against someone that's slower or weaker than you, or maybe even shorter than you, I never really faced that often. Whenever you're matched up against somebody that creates a mismatch, exploit it. Think about it like this. Whenever you watch those animal shows like the National Geographic stuff, like all that good stuff, have you ever seen the episodes where they talk about the lions and how they're attacking the zebras and everything? If a lion saw a zebra that was weak, let me tell you something. He's not going to go all overdo it like, oh man, that's a real shame. He hurt his leg. Guess I'll try to find one of the stronger ones. No. The lion's going to kill that zebra and eat it. Now, I get it. You might feel bad or something, but if somebody doesn't work hard enough, that's their fault. That's not yours. So take advantage of the mismatches. I want to bring this up as well. There may be basketball IQ mismatches. Somebody might be faster than you, stronger than you, may be able to jump higher than you. All those things taken into account, they just may not have the level of basketball knowledge that you do, and you can definitely exploit that. Keep that in mind. So bottom line, great scorers do not have pity. Principle number 3, play your own game. Don't worry about the crowd. Don't worry about what your teammates think, what your coach thinks. Don't worry about what your parents think. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks except you. You're playing the game because you love the game, so don't overthink it. Now, everybody has their unique style of play, and don't let other people take that away from you. For example, let's talk about Steph Curry again. He was a trendsetter, and a lot of people were thinking, no, you shoot too much, man. That didn't stop him, though. He kept shooting the ball because that's how he likes to play the game, and that's how he dominates. If there's a part of your game that you love and that you do well in, continue doing that. Think about it like a growing business. If they're selling a product that's selling out every time and they're earning millions, do you think they're going to say, maybe we should change it? No, they're going to keep selling it because it's working. Don't let other people sway the way you play basketball. Everybody has an opinion. That doesn't mean it's good. Nombre kata. I think that's 4 in French. Get to the foul line. Drawing fouls isn't just about being aggressive, though. Yeah, you hear that all the time. The more aggressive you are, the more you'll get to the foul line. Absolutely. But you also have to use your mind. Like I said, when you're exploiting mismatches, for example, use what you have. Use your basketball knowledge. So sometimes in your approach, you might have to go off of 2 feet instead of 1 so you're not off balance, etc. Free throws can be the difference between an 18-point game and a 30 bomb. I know that from experience. So bottom line, great scorers know that getting to the free throw line is one of the easiest ways to add to their point total. Number 5, create scoring opportunities in transition. Sprint hard, even when you don't have the ball. Move with a purpose. Read the defense. And position yourself to finish plays in opportune areas. The reasons for why we run out in transition are to create chaos and keep the defense guessing. Also, you can get easy buckets that way. When I look back on my 30-plus point games, a lot of those points were in transition. And also, by running in transition, the defense scrambles. And that is the easiest way to take advantage of the defense, especially if they're in a zone. If you're struggling to score in a zone, get your team to speed up a little bit. The less time the other team has to get into their zone, the better. And my favorite thing to hear on the basketball court was, hey, I got him. No, I thought you had him. That's chaos. Number 6, play with aggression and heart. I'm not going to harp on this too long because you already know this, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Scoring isn't just a technical skill. It's also about your mindset. I've seen such talented players struggle to score in games because of this very reason. Once they get into the games, they doubt themselves and they start second guessing, and then they hesitate and, oh, look, they missed their scoring opportunity. If you don't want that to be you, you need to get this thought into your mind right now. The moment you hesitate is the moment you die. Think about it like that. If you were surviving in the wilderness, you got an animal chasing you. You got, a lot of animal analogies today. You have an animal chasing you in the forest. If you make one wrong move, you're done. So you either go right or you go left. Make the decision. To get away from the animal analogies here, I'm just going to give you the bottom line. It's about showing up every time, going after every opportunity, and playing with a fierce determination to make things happen. By the way, by playing with this aggression, you also open up things for your teammates, and you can make nice passes. Number 7, I'm running out of fingers here. Volume shooting over efficiency. This was a tough lesson for me to learn because I was always taught that stats and analytics are the way, and you want to be efficient whenever you play basketball, especially you don't want to upset the coaches. That was a big thing for me. But over the course of my 15-year basketball career, I've learned that if you want to score a lot of points, you got to score a lot of shots, plain and simple, point blank period. When I look back at some of my 30-plus point games, I look at the numbers of the amount of shots I took versus the amount of shots I make, just to get my efficiency. And I used to worry about that all the time. Like, I would think, oh no, I shot 25 shots. Oh, that's crazy. That's a lot of shots to take. But the thing was, I would make like 15 to 17 of them. So at the end of the day, you need to value points more than efficiency because percentages ain't points. I said that in one of my other videos. I'll link it somewhere on the screen. So the more shots you take, the more opportunities you have to score. So don't be afraid to miss. Instead, focus on getting the ball in your hands, just letting that shot go. Once again, by you shooting these shots, you'll create more defensive attention, and that gives you more gravity, and that opens up everything else for your teammates. So bottom line, as your volume increases, your chances of racking up points grows exponentially. Number 8. There we go. Number 8. I'm going to expand on something I just talked about. Don't get caught up in percentages. Efficiency can trap you into overthinking, and great scorers don't have time for that. If you're worried about your shooting percentage, you'll hesitate before you shoot. That's it. Now, the difference between you getting a shot up and possibly making it versus getting swatted into the third row is that second of hesitation. That's all it takes. But I used to struggle with shooting percentage a lot, and I think a lot of other players do as well, because the last thing they want is for people to think that they're a gunner or they're a ball hog. That's like horrible. But I talk to some of my teammates from high school basketball now, and I just ask them those questions like, was I a ball hog or was I a gunner? And they're honest with me. They say, you know what, Mark? Sometimes you were, but we needed you to be because you scored the basketball. It's number 9. Hard work and consistency are non-negotiable. No one becomes a great scorer without putting in the work. I've had a lot of basketball players ask me, how many shots did you put up every single day? What was your workouts like? What did you do? And when I would tell them, they would just say, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. I don't have time to do that. And that's what separates the great scorers from the good ones. I would say if you're not shooting at least 300 shots a day, you're selling yourself short. If you want to average 15 plus points per game, that's what it takes. I was able to do it, and I'm only 5'8", so what's your excuse? So bottom line, there are no shortcuts. Number 10, this changed the way I look at the game of basketball right here. Confidence and aggression lead to consistency. To be a reliable scorer, you need to attack the game with confidence. Great scorers take control. They're not waiting for the right moment to just fall into their lap. They seize the moment. When you go into a basketball game, if you go into the game thinking, I hope I make my first shot, I hope, you're already setting yourself up for failure. By the offseason of my junior year, I really started to notice this principle at work. Before every single game, I sized up my opponents and I looked to see every single weakness they had in their warm-ups. I was so thorough with this, and I would just stare at the other team's warm-ups. And I would just see one thing. Boom. Okay, that's it. That's the one guy's weakness. That's the type of intention I had before every game. I would stalk the other team, and I would see, okay, this guy doesn't work on this part of his game. That guy is lazy. This guy does this. This guy does that. And that just made my confidence grow, man. I promise you, every team that you look at has at least one weakness. And just by seeing that one weakness, it reminds you that the other team is like human.
You see, he's not a machine. He's a man.
There's been games that I would go into, like it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm somewhere far away for an AAU tournament. And the other team is just in layup lines doing windmill dunks. And I'm just over here like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a rough morning. But if I look at it more on a micro scale instead of the whole macro scale and seeing, all they're doing is dunking, I can look and see, that guy before he went into his dunk, he almost lost his dribble. He must be weak with the ball. Now, all that stuff about intention might seem like a side note, but to get back to what I was saying, confidence and aggression lead to consistency. Now you know what to be aggressive towards. You've learned their weaknesses, and now you can attack them aggressively. When you're confident in your approach to the games, it becomes a whole lot easier. So bottom line, trust your training and trust your ability to score. Numbre 11. That should mean number 11 in some language. Trust yourself and overcome mental barriers. Fear and self-doubt can hold any player back, let's be real. But the best scorers break through those barriers. See, they trust their preparation, they trust their training, and they trust in their ability to make plays. When I look back on my junior year of high school basketball, when I scored 410 points in that one season, I was so fearless, man. I love how aggressive I was every single game. I didn't worry about what the coaches had to say, what my teammates had to say, what anybody had to say. I was just playing my game. Now, every miss and every failure around that time didn't feel like a miss or a failure. It just felt like a step closer to my goals. If I missed a shot in game, I wasn't going to say, oh my gosh, I suck. No, I was going to say, okay, that shot was a little bit short. I got to use my legs more. Oh, that was a bit left. I got to make it go right. If you change your perspective on the game of basketball as a whole, what you will notice is that you learn and you just gain all this basketball wisdom by default. I learned so much in my junior year because I changed the way I look at the game. Instead of thinking that every miss, every failure was bad, I saw it as kind of like Super Mario Brothers. If you make a mistake, you fall in a pit, you're just going to reload the level and try again. And you're not going to make that same mistake. Hopefully. Number 12. This, in my opinion, is the most important principle on this list. And that is, have faith. Trust in yourself. But also have faith that God's got you. Remember that God is always there. Jesus Christ is your strength. And remember this verse right here. Even though I walk through the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. So don't be afraid to tap into his peace, man. Now, another part of watching film and understanding the game and really increasing your basketball IQ is understanding pace. See, if we go from freshman ball to JV ball to varsity ball, the biggest difference really is just pace. Varsity is the fastest pace compared to the other two. So if you understand the pacing of the game, you can really adapt. And let's say you're a swing player, you're going from JV to varsity. I did that my sophomore year. All you got to understand is that varsity is just much faster. So if you can get to that point where you can adjust to those speeds, you'll be golden. The biggest struggle for basketball players is confidence. And to even prove my point, I made a poll and asked you guys, what is your biggest struggle in basketball? The numbers don't lie. And I struggled with confidence for a large part of my life. But once I learned these 7 things, I was never the same. The first piece of advice that I have for you is confidence is preparedness. For myself personally, whenever I have a good warm-up before a game, I get some shots up, I get to feel the ball. Whenever I'm prepared, I feel great. Same thing if I have a test in school. If I know I studied a lot, if I worked really hard, I'm gonna feel good going into that test. That affects your confidence. Confidence is preparedness. So if you want a cheat code to confidence, be prepared. The second piece of advice I have for you also relates to your warm-up. See the ball go in during your warm-ups. Stop trying to jack up far threes or from half-court shots in your warm-ups. Stop doing that. That's not efficient. What I want you to do in your warm-ups is do some form shooting. See the ball go through the net. See the ball swish. Hear the sounds. All that good stuff is going to help you in being confident. You may be surprised how much it really affects you seeing what you want. That's why we practice things like visualization and meditation and stuff like that for basketball. The more you see it, the more you believe it. Number 3, take these words out of your vocabulary. Can't, I suck, and never. These 3 words will hold you back in anything you try to do in this life. Henry Ford said it one time, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. So we need to change that part of our vocabulary. Stop saying can't. Tony Robbins has something that he does with people whenever he has those live events. Tony Robbins, right? The big motivational speaker guy, that guy. He has this little exercise that he does with people.
Now do this. I want you to look around this room right now and find everything in this room that you can find that is brown as fast as you can. Look for brown, look for brown, look for brown, look for brown. Look around you, look for brown, look for brown, look for brown. Okay, close your eyes. I'm going to give you a test. With your eyes closed now, shout out loud everything you saw that was red. If you see a lot more brown right now than red, say yes. Open your eyes. Look for red now. I want you to really look for red. Look for red, look for red, look for red. Anything you can find that's red, look for red. All around you, look for red. Raise your hand if you found more red this time and say I. Why did you find more red this time? Because seek and you shall. That's right. Whatever you focus on, you're going to find it. In fact, let me tell you something. You'll even find it when it's not there. How many saw burgundy, called it red, just so you could have more things you counted? Raise your hand, say, come on. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. So if you want to change your life, my friends, you got to change your physiology and you got to change your focus.
Your reality will warp itself into following what you believe. And I'm not saying, this is like a manifestation or something. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that our minds are powerful enough to force our bodies to do things that we didn't think we could ever do before. If you are in the habit of saying, I suck, listen up right now, okay? You miss a shot. Damn, bro, I suck, dude. Stop saying that. Never say that again. You will never, and I mean never, see Steph Curry miss a shot and say, I suck. Never. Most NBA players will never say that. I don't think any of them do, because their minds are strong. And they fortify their minds. They don't ever speak badly about themselves in basketball. They don't. They really don't. You will never see a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant. They would never say that. Now let's talk about never. Never is a horrible word because it is a powerful word. The more you say never, 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 the more it becomes true. It's not a manifestation. I don't believe in that crap. I do believe that we can tell ourselves what we are willing to do and what we are not willing to do, though. And now here's a verse. Ephesians 4:29. Paul says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." While we want to build other people up, let's build ourselves up too. We don't want any unwholesome talk to be towards ourselves either, right? Build yourself up. The fourth piece of advice actually comes from a lesson I learned from my brother. Do everything that is in your control to the best of your ability. In life and in sports, you can't control everything. Some things you just have to deal with. But when it really comes down to it, the successful people make do with what they have. They are resourceful people. And you need to become resourceful. Yeah, alright, you may not be able to control how many shots the other team makes because they could just have a really good game, but you can control your attitude all the way through it. You could say, we're never going to win at this rate. Or you could say, alright, I'm going to play the hardest defense I can. We're going to try to get out in transitions, get something there. Number 5 is something that I learned recently. I had to learn this in my junior year of high school. Understand that you are human. Stop being so hard on yourself. Bottom line. I am one of the hardest people on myself, ever. I do not let myself live sometimes. because of my mistakes. I get so down on myself because I expect so much of myself. And while I do believe that is a great thing, expecting a lot of yourself can push you to great heights, you have to have a balance between expecting a lot of yourself and understanding you're going to make mistakes along the way. And the perspective that I needed to change was, my old perspective was that whenever I make a mistake, that's a step backwards. But it's actually the other way around. Every mistake that you make will get you closer to your goals. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid that you're human. Number 6, anybody can be confident. Even you, Joseph. I don't know if there's any Josephs out there, but what's up? Anybody can be confident. Even you. People say, oh, you're either born with confidence or you're not, and that is just not true. I was not born with confidence. I struggled with it for years. And, well, it's an ongoing struggle. It's a process. It's not like a character trait that you either have or you don't, and it always stays that way. No. There's times when my confidence is low. There's ups and downs, but I think true confidence is not thinking, okay, I am going to have an amazing game every time I step on the court. While I think that's a great mindset, I don't think that's true confidence. What I believe true confidence is that you get on the court and you say, no matter what happens today, I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to be happy with the results because I know I gave it everything. That also goes with controlling everything that you can control. If you go on the court and put that much pressure on yourself, like, oh, I got to score this amount of points, I got to do this, and this, you're going to be all in your head. I mentioned this before. Confidence is a process. Confidence is not something that you can just grab out of the sky and now you're confident. No, I wish it was that easy. It's really not. Confidence is an ongoing process that lasts your whole life. It will never be perfect, but one day you can look at yourself and say, hey, I've improved. Let's break down the word itself. What does confidence mean? To confide means to trust. And if you are confident in yourself, that means you trust yourself. And I believe if you want to be confident in yourself, you have to treat yourself with the utmost respect. And that means you have to treat your body right. You have to eat the right food. You got to work out. You got to prepare for the games that you're about to get into. That's the utmost respect for yourself. And you know that whatever you set your mind to can be achieved. There's no such thing as never. The 7th piece of advice I have for you is a 6-step process, so bear with me. This 6-step formula is something that I learned from the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. The first step is for the next 24 hours, speak hopefully about everything. Everything. I don't care if you don't believe what you're saying or not. Speak hopefully about anything and everything. What I noticed from this practice was I had to stop myself from saying negative things. We talk so negative without realizing it. I think I'm a positive person. I really do. But even with being positive, we allow negative stuff to slip. So this was really impactful for me. I had to mindfully watch every word that I said, and I could not speak negative about anything. And I think I did mess up a few times. The second step in this process is to continue that same practice for 1 week. After you do that, be realistic. What you will notice is that your old version of realistic was actually pessimistic. When I did this practice, I found that to be true as well. I look back at some of the things that I used to think was realistic, and I'm like, man, that's like the worst possible outcome. The third step is to feed your mind with nourishing thoughts. Be grateful, be happy, have faith. Those are nourishing, building thoughts. Remember to build yourself up with wholesome talk. Number 4 is a practical tip. Here's what you got to do. Find your Bible, go to the New Testament. Then once you get to the New Testament, start committing passages that relate to faith to your memory. I've highlighted, I've marked things up. I mean, you can look at this all through here, right? I've done that. Commit those passages to your memory. I noticed a huge difference in my life once I started doing that. I have things written on the wall up there. I have a whole sheet of paper. It has like 7 or 8 verses on there. I just read those every once in a while. Like, post up verses in your bedroom. Do something like that. Whatever you got to do to remember verses or to have some kind of I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me type of vibe. Like, whatever you got to do, do it. Number 5 is avoid arguments. You got to counter other people with positive opposing opinions. Don't get into a big debate that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You don't have to do all that. Just avoid arguments. Let your prayers be of thanksgiving. This is something that I like to practice. I just picture myself being God for a second and looking at myself praying. Would I like to hang out with this person? When you go to pray, don't say, you know, God, I'm so angry about this. I'm so angry about that. Why did you let this happen? Why are you doing this? This is so annoying. I'm so mad. Don't talk like that to God. When you're talking to God, yeah, you may have things that you're frustrated about, but go into your prayer with the sense of thanksgiving. I do believe that that gratitude will pour over into other aspects of your life. You'll find yourself becoming more grateful for the little things that people do for you, whether it be your mom or your dad helping you out with something, or, you know, the food that they put on the table, things like that you didn't even think about to be grateful for. You're just like, oh my gosh, I am so blessed. I want to invite you to a free group video call with me so I can show you how to increase your scoring average by up to 30% or more in just 8 games. Please ask your parents' permission because they must be on the call with you. And as a bonus gift, just by attending the video call, if you stay till the end, I will give you a 90-day basketball workout plan plus a workout tracker for absolutely free. Join my free school community with the link in the description. Then when you're in that community, you will see the calendar tab. The webinar will be on that calendar. The greatest basketball players are great because they make the game simple. They know how to create separation, make the right decisions, and find the best shots. There are 6 things elite basketball players understand that allow them to score at will, and the 6th one is arguably the most important. And the best part is, you don't have to be insanely tall or freakishly athletic to do these things. The first of these is non-stop movement. Let's take a look at one of the greatest scorers of all time, Stephen Curry. I challenge you to watch a full Warriors game and pay attention to how much he moves off the ball. That man is running around screens, making cuts, and ultimately running circles around the defense.
It's the real deal. Help me. Help me.
This is one of the many reasons why Steph is almost impossible to guard. And fortunately, you too can build cardiovascular endurance over time through hard work and persistence, just like Curry did. And let me tell you something from experience. It's worth it. I lie to you not. There have been multiple occasions during my games when somebody on the other team, you know, usually the guy that's guarding me, is like hunched over, gasping for air, just begging me, dude, you gotta chill out on the next player's zone, bro. Like, chill, dude, it ain't that serious. And I'm telling you, like, there's so much power in having great basketball endurance that most basketball players take for granted. See, the power in it is being able to tire out your defender so much that he can't even produce on the offensive end. Here are 3 ways I built up my endurance over the years and turned one of my glaring weaknesses into one of my greatest strengths. Every offseason since 10th grade, I have spent a lot of time just running around my neighborhood. See, I would run around my neighborhood, and these runs were usually about 3.5 to 4 miles, and the goal of these runs is to stay at the same pace the entire time without slowing down. The running speed is in between a sprint and a jog, so you got to find something in the middle there. Sprints. Let's be real. Basketball players don't like sprints. But over the years, I have grown to love them because most other basketball players aren't willing to do them. So that gave me a competitive advantage over most players. Now look, I'm not going to be able to give you a perfect sprinting training regimen or something. You just have to do them. You know, for example, do 5 upbacks in your backyard or in your driveway. Like, don't overcomplicate it. Just do the sprints. The final key is weightlifting. Now, while weightlifting may not directly impact your cardiovascular endurance, I do believe it is important to train your muscles and get them stronger to withstand the impacts of running for prolonged periods of time. Quick little story. Growing up, I had horrible knee pain, and all the running and jumping you must do for basketball was killing me. So I went to a few specialists, and finally I was diagnosed with Osgood-Schlatter's disease, which is an irritation of the area just below the knee where the tendon from the kneecap, which is the patellar tendon, attaches to the shin bone, which is the tibia. So basically this area was just an excruciating pain.
Help! Help!
Even resting didn't fix it because, you know, it's not something that rest can really fix. So I just had to learn to push through the pain. Thankfully, in combination with just getting older and my growth plates not being out of whack anymore, it went away. However, I will say that weightlifting did ease the pain on my knees because it strengthened the muscles around them, so they didn't have to work as hard. Pro tip, if you have knee pain, go on the leg extension machine and hold the movement at the top. You'll thank me later. The second easy way to get buckets we will discuss is attacking mismatches. In my opinion, the greatest isolation player of all time is hands down James Harden. And one thing you will notice with James Harden's game is that his eyes light up when he has a mismatch. Opposing NBA teams know this and they make sure to fight around screens because the moment Harden has a mismatch, he is going to bring that man on an island and just go to work. I really started attacking mismatches in my junior year of high school because that was when I started to actually develop some kind of speed off the dribble. In high school basketball, most big men are not freak athletes. They're just tall. And a lot of them have never really guarded the guard position that much, which is why it is so important to attack those mismatches. And even at the higher levels where big men are more skilled, more athletic and everything, guards still have the advantage due to smaller players being able to shift the bigger guys. There are two essential actions you must take when attacking a mismatch. The first one is something that I've had to learn right now in my senior year. I'm still learning it right now. Give yourself a running start when attacking the mismatch. In the past, I've had mismatches and I just got clamped up by big men because I didn't give myself a running start. I tried to cook them right here on the wing and without even moving back, and then they're just able to slide with me with their long strides. The best way to beat the mismatch is to take them out onto an island. Take them out onto an island, call an ISO if you have to, but get them out far away from the basket to where they're uncomfortable. They don't like guarding the perimeter. They want to stay in the paint. So get them as far out as you can and give yourself a running start to go downhill. And especially in high school basketball, you're probably going to get fouled because people are undisciplined, especially the big men that are guarding the smaller players because they think they could just block it out of the air every single time. Number two, this is something else I got to work on. Don't get tunnel vision. If you get tunnel vision, you won't be able to find the open man. When you have that mismatch, understand this. There's a mismatch somewhere else too. So if you're all hyped, okay, I got the center on me now. Let me take it back. Okay, let me cook him real quick. Your big man might have the shortest kid on the court on him. So you might want to be able to fake up here, get it into the low post or something like that. Don't get too much tunnel vision. Throughout the course of my basketball career, there has been a clear connection between my 30-point games and the amount of times I got to the foul line. If you want to score more points, you will do yourself a favor by getting to the foul line more. As I mentioned earlier, in high school, defenders are undisciplined. This means the more aggressive you are, the more times you'll get to the foul line. Also, as a shooter myself, I use my landing space to my advantage. If a defender closes out into your landing space, that's a foul. So to make sure that the ref sees that it's a foul, fall. Just fall. And that'll prevent a lot of injuries too, like by landing on somebody's foot and all the weight going on your ankle or something, fall. Okay? Don't flop, but fall. Because that gives you the opportunity to get a 4-point play or just get 3 free throws. And as Trey Drexel always says, do not leave money at the free throw line. Make those free throws because they are the only free shots you'll get in basketball. Fast breaks are a great way to score extra points in basketball. For one-on-one fast breaks, the key is to be quick and unpredictable. Attack the defender aggressively, unless they're going for a charge. Don't get a charge. Don't overthink. Just focus on speed and being unpredictable to score. In situations when your team has the advantage, let's say a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, spacing is crucial. And as a guard, you must take the middle of the court and use passing to move the ball up faster. Dribbling is not faster than passing. You've been taught that so many times throughout your basketball career, right? Your coaches may say, move the ball up the floor with passes, stop dribbling so much, right? It's true. The ball moves faster in the air than it does on the floor. So when you get that ball to the outlet, you might want to pass it up the floor because somebody might be waiting for the ball down there. You can get easy buckets. Also, at any level in basketball, especially the lower levels, most teams struggle playing defense in transition. So make sure to be on the lookout for passing behind the line of defenders for an easy bucket. One of the most frustrating things for coaches is missing fast break opportunities. If you're not handling the ball, sprint down the court anyway. You might just get the ball as a trailer or help apply pressure to the defense. Sprinting can lead to unexpected scoring opportunities, and it challenges the defense to work harder. This next piece of advice will not only help generate more points for you, but it will also make you aware of how to get your teammates to score more too. Basketball is a numbers game, and if you understand that simple principle, you can generate more points for your team. For example, if you're in the half court and somebody does a late closeout and a pump fake makes him go flying, now he is out of the play temporarily, which means it is now a 5-on-4 advantage for the offense. So with that advantage, the ball handler has to make a read. He can drive and dish off to the open man, take it all the way if nobody steps up, and finally he can draw the help and make the quick swing, and then his teammates can make the decision to either swing again, attack the late closeout again, or take the shot, and the cycle continues until a high quality shot is created. Now, we talked about this a little bit in the fast break section, but I wanted to expand on this more. More often than you may realize, secondary fast break opportunities present themselves. Somebody with a bad attitude is walking on defense. Somebody fell down, or the defense forgot to match up on somebody. It can be anything. And this secondary fast break can be used to create high quality looks. You have to know when to speed up the pace of the game and when to slow it down. A lot of the time when I was younger, I wouldn't read this and I missed easy opportunities to score for myself and failed to find open teammates. Always be on the lookout for high quality looks. You may have noticed a common theme throughout this video is being aggressive. I wish I could go back in time and tell this to my younger self. Be in attack mode. Be in attack mode. Stop being afraid to attack the defense. This does not mean for you to be selfish. This means to attack the gaps in the defense and let their mistakes lead to their destruction. This means driving in hard and finding your open teammate. This means taking charge of the game. See, play smart basketball and trust in your training. If you trained hard, that is. If you remember from the beginning of this video, I talked about Stephen Curry and why his play style makes him almost impossible to guard, right? He runs around the entire court and everything. Stephen Curry's play style is a mindset. Curry refuses to get tired. He refuses to take plays off. He is going to get to his spots and find an opening one way or another. That's called heart. And no matter what I say to you, I can't teach that to you. Either you want it or you don't. Now look, bro, I get it. Basketball tryouts are coming up quick. But hey, I got you, bro. Make sure to check out this video where I show you exactly how to dominate your high school basketball tryouts and make the team. But as always, keep God first. Good luck, bro. Since the very beginning of my basketball career, I have loved shooting. I have always been mesmerized by the precision of the greatest shooters of all time and the artistry on display every time they pick up a basketball. This love for the game has ultimately led me to taking a deep dive on the art of shooting a basketball. And from this research, I scored 64 3-pointers in my junior year of high school basketball, which is the second most in my school's history, falling one short of the record. In this video, I will share with you all the data I collected, the shared principles from the greatest sharpshooters of all time, and valuable sources that may help you in your own shooting journey. In this video, we will be looking at 4 of the most prolific shooters of all time, each of them with varying shooting forms. Stephen Curry breaks a lot of the fundamentals of shooting when you look at his jump shot. First of all, his elbow is not at a 90-degree angle. I remember being taught when I was younger the shooting fundamentals. Oh no, you gotta have the L shape when you shoot. It's gotta be an L, 90 degrees. His shot is not 90 degrees. Also, before he releases the ball, there is no gap between the palm of his hand and the ball. Another thing to look at with Stephen Curry's jump shot is that the ball is always released off of his index finger or his middle finger. Most times it's his middle finger. And his body is straight when he shoots. He doesn't have a bent back, he's not hunched over, his body is straight the whole way. His offhand thumb is facing the basket, which is a groundbreaking discovery. Stephen Curry has a thumb flick on his jump shot. This goes against the grain of all the fundamentals. Oh, you should never have a thumb flick on your jump shot, that'll mess up your shot, blah, 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 blah. But Stephen Curry himself has a thumb flick. And there are notable other shooters in the NBA that have that thumb flick, but for whatever reason in the fundamentals, that is strictly prohibited. Another thing you will notice about Stephen Curry's jump shot, he doesn't jump as high as he can. He doesn't try to jump over the defenders to get the shot up. His jump is not high. He focuses on having a quick release to get his shot up. The next shooter on this list is none other than the late great Ray Allen. The first thing that I noticed with Ray Allen's jump shot is that his elbow is at a 45-degree angle when he shoots, his shooting elbow, which once again goes against the grain of having that 90-degree angle. And similar to Stephen Curry, there is no gap between his palm and the ball, once again disproving that myth that shooting coaches preach to their players. Something that I found interesting about Ray Allen's jump shot is that his guide hand isn't on the side of the ball completely, it's more so on the top of the ball, which is very fascinating. I never liked that. Like, whenever I shoot the basketball, it's most comfortable for me to have the hand on the side, not the top, but his is closer to the top than the side. And his guide arm is extremely bent. The ball in his release point is straight above his head. You see with some shooters, the ball is not right above their head, it's not in the middle. But his is maybe a picture perfect jump shot in that sense, that the ball is perfectly in the middle of his body. Now this is something that should be common knowledge, but I wanted to speak on it anyway. Ray Allen's feet aren't always squared to the basket when he shoots. Ray Allen is such a great shooter that his feet do not have to be squared to the basket for him to make the shot. If his shoulders are squared, that's all that matters. And sharing a similarity with Stephen Curry, he releases his shot off of his middle and index fingers as well. Now Ray Allen goes back to the fundamentals here. He does not have a thumb flick on his jump shot. The next player on this list is usually given the title of having the most fundamental jump shot in basketball. And that player is Klay Thompson.
Because like everybody shoots differently, like all the greatest shooters in the league, we all have different releases and different forms, but Klay's is the one that if you just took a snapshot, it's just right here. It's just extreme, it's pretty. I call it the prettiest jump shot I've ever seen.
Now forgetting his past performances, let's talk about his jump shot form. It's beautiful. Let's just be honest, it looks smooth. And when you look at his arm, the shooting arm is almost at a 90-degree angle exactly, which differs from Ray Allen at the 45-degree angle and Stephen Curry alike. And his body is straight like an arrow. I mean, his whole body is aligned with his arms and his jump shot form. And the ball is on his palm. Once again, there is no gap between the palm and the ball.
That's where you want the ball. And you want to be able to see air through there, because you don't want to shoot like this.
So that was a lie.
Now something else fascinating about his jump shot is that, similar to Ray Allen, his guide hand is close to the top of the ball. Klay Thompson also does not have a thumb flick on his jump shot. When Klay Thompson shoots, his feet are staggered. They are not 10 toes to the basket fully squared. You do not have to be 10 toes like some shooting coaches will tell you. And similar to Stephen Curry and Ray Allen, the ball always comes off his middle and index fingers. With Klay Thompson's jump shot, he makes sure to always square his shoulders to the basket. That gives him the perfect accuracy every single time. Kevin Durant. The reason why I put him as the last person on this list is because his jump shot is weird. Let me just be honest, his jump shot is weird, man. Let's start off with his set, okay? You'll notice that his knees buckle on themselves. They buckle. His knees are touching when he shoots the ball. And the ball starts on the left side of his body. And his shoulders are not squared to the basket. When he gets the ball above his head, his guide arm is bent, and his guide hand is on the low side of the ball. And once again, for the fourth time, there is no gap between the palm and the ball. And similar to Ray Allen, the ball is straight above his head. I find that interesting that the ball is straight above his head because the starting point of the ball was on his left side, which means he went diagonally up into his shot. Kevin Durant does not have a thumb flick on his jump shot, and actually, his guide arm does not follow the ball all the way up. And interestingly, the ball comes off of his thumb, index, and middle finger. So now let's talk about the common principles of the jump shot from this data. First of all, from most of the greatest shooters, not including Kevin Durant because he's just a hybrid, he's weird, the ball comes off the middle and index finger. Number two, the greatest shooters of all time have their body straight when they shoot. They don't hunch over, they don't bend to the side, their body is straight up and down. Number three, the greatest shooters of all time usually don't jump as high as they can when they shoot. Number four, the guide arm has a slight bend at the elbow, and the guide hand is at the top to the middle of the ball. Number five, this myth was disproven with every single shooter that we went over today. You do not have to have a gap between the palm of your hand and the basketball. If anything, putting the ball in the palm of your hands gives you more control over the basketball, which is why you should do that instead. Number six, you should square your shoulders to the basket when you shoot, but you don't have to have your feet squared. And I believe this disproves the myth that coaches tell you that, oh, you gotta have 10 toes to the rim. That's nonsense. Number seven, a thumb flick is optional. It's not completely outlawed. You can have a thumb flick on your jump shot and get away with it. Here's my message to all the basketball players out there. Stop changing your jump shot so much. If your jump shot is comfortable, if your jump shot is not crazy, if it has at least some of the fundamentals, it's comfortable for you and it's fast, stick with it. Rock with it. Stop changing to another one and master the one that you're currently using. I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to a free group video call with me so I can show you how to increase your scoring average by up to 30% or more in just 8 games. Please ask your parents' permission because they must be on the call with you. And as a bonus gift, just by attending the video call, if you stay till the end, I will give you a 90-day basketball workout plan plus a workout tracker for absolutely free. Join my free school community with the link in the description. Then when you're in that community, you will see the calendar tab. The webinar will be on that calendar. Getting better at basketball can feel like a long, slow grind for most players, but that doesn't have to be you. I'll show you how I went from 13 points on the season as a sophomore in high school to 410 in my junior year, alongside an MVP award and a first team all-conference award. First things first, you should gamify your practices. If you want to translate your actual practices to your games, they have to be similar. So for example, you're 1v1ing your friend, right? Don't have unlimited dribbles and no shot clock, because that's not what you're going to get in the games. Maybe have a set minimum dribbles of 5 or 3 per possession, or even have a shot clock of 5 seconds to score. This is going to force you into a game-like setting where you have to get your points and you can't waste dribbles or waste any time. The next thing you gotta do is dial in on a specific skill. Most players and most people in life try to be okay at everything. They try to be a well-rounded individual. But I don't fully understand that concept. Why would you want to be okay at everything instead of really good at a few things you're passionate about? It's the same thing with basketball. If you love shooting, become an amazing shooter. Yes, maybe you might not be able to spend as much time on some of the other things, but at least you're gonna stand out. That's what I did, man. I wasn't the tallest or fastest, strongest. I wasn't any of that, but I became an amazing player by shooting a lot. I became a knockdown three-point shooter, so teams had to game plan against me. So instead of trying to be Mr. Average, Mr. Well-Rounded, find your play style and then go all in. Let me relate this to the real world. Specialists get paid more than the average worker. For example, if you were in the medical field, who gets paid more? A nurse or a brain surgeon? A brain surgeon may not be able to do everything that a nurse does, but the brain surgeon does one thing better than any other doctor. This piece of advice right here is extremely important. Record your practices and record your games. I want you to study your mistakes and take notes and dive deep into what your strengths and weaknesses are. If there's a problem within your game, you must diagnose the problem. That is half the cure. Let's say you record your practices and you notice you stand too tall. Okay, you can see that, write down that note, and then keep that in your mind when going into your next practice session. Make sure to stay low. But if you don't record your practices and you don't study the way you play, you're not going to be able to figure that out. And it's the same thing with your game film. If you're making the same mistake over and over again, let's say you're getting shut down by the help defender because your eyes aren't on them and you get stripped. You can look at that film, see how that happens, and then fix it so it doesn't happen again. In my opinion, your growth as a basketball player means how often do you make mistakes, and then how often do you fix them so that they don't repeat. Number 4, set daily measurable goals. This whole idea that's spread like a virus within the sports community is that, quote, get 1% better every day, but it's too vague. It's dumb. I never understood why people love that quote so much because it doesn't mean anything. It's empty words. If you want to get better at basketball, set daily goals that you can actually see. Tangible goals. For example, all right, I'm going to make 300 shots today in my workout. That's something that you can do. And that's something you could see. You can't see 1% better and, oh, I think I improved today. Did you? Did you work hard? Did you achieve something difficult? Did you overcome obstacles? That is a true sign of improvement. If you can't describe what your goals are, you don't have a goal. So set meaningful goals in your practices. Number 5, study the game relentlessly. Watch highlights, watch documentaries, read books, study the greats and break down their film. Become obsessed with the game of basketball. Break it down to a science and understand the art. Don't just consume basketball content. Read books based on leadership, mindset, getting along with other people, Those are the things that will help you in the long run when you want to be the leader of your team or you want to make it to the next level. Become a student of the game, not just a player. Number 6, prioritize sleep and diet. Most players neglect these two things. Don't be that guy. Let me give you a quick little comparison. Let's say 2 of the same people are in an experiment. We cloned somebody. We got A, we got B. That same player is going into a basketball game. But player A is sleep deprived and filled his diet with cookies and snacks. Compared to player B, who got enough sleep and ate clean. Who do you think is going to perform better in that game? I'm going with player B. He won't have that mind fog. He's going to make better decisions. His energy levels will be higher. Prioritize your diet and your sleep, man. Number 7, practice unpredictability. If you're a shorter player and you're struggling to score over taller guys, you need to be more unpredictable. The reason why you're getting swatted into the 3rd row is not because, oh, little old me is too short to play basketball. No, it's because you're doing the same thing every time. A great way to practice unpredictability is to do this drill right here. I want you to make 10 layups on each side of the basket, but you can't do the same finish twice. So let's say you jumped off of your right foot and made a left-handed layup. Great, now you can't do that. You gotta switch feet, you gotta switch pickups, you gotta switch hands. Every single layup is gonna be different. Number 8, this is for my Christians out there. Have faith in Jesus Christ. Trust that he's got your back and glorify him through your success. Faith gives you confidence that effort alone can't provide. This may be one of the most overlooked things within basketball. Have fun. A lot of people will try to ask me questions like, hey man, I'm having a hard time staying on a consistent schedule and I keep missing workouts. What do I do, man? I'm trying to be disciplined. Alright. Why is the game that you love requiring that much discipline? If you aren't having fun with what you're doing, you're probably doing it wrong. There's no value in playing basketball if you hate every second of it, or if you only like it when you win. Take a step back from your life and look at basketball and say, alright, is this truly what I love to do? And if it's not, don't stress yourself over it. But if it is, get back to why you love it. Remind yourself why you love it. Is it the sound that the basketball makes? Is it the smell of the empty gym? Is it the crowd? Whatever it is, man, remind yourself of those things and lean all the way into it. I personally believe a man that truly loves what he does, that has a fiery passion for his sport or his line of work, I personally believe that guy will surpass everybody else that just works hard and grin and bears it. So yes, as crazy as it sounds, the secret to becoming a better basketball player is to have fun. I think a lot of you who struggle with those limiting beliefs would say, oh, well, you know, I'm not special, I'm not unique, I wasn't given talent at birth, I don't have the right genetics, right? Okay. By saying all that, you're telling me you're built different. So the same principles that work for everyone else, that if you work hard, you keep a strong mindset, all of that stuff, you won't be able to find success even if you do those same things. To me, that's illogical. And you're putting yourself on a pedestal higher than everybody else. Is that what you're trying to do? I don't know, man, but that's what it seems like. If you want success, just follow the success principles of working hard, not giving up, strong mindset. Like, you know it. But you're counting yourself out and saying, oh, no, it's not going to work for me. Why? Why won't it work for you? Man, I'm 5'9", unathletic, you name it. But I was still able to become an MVP of my team. I made first team all conference twice. I went through a broken shoulder injury, came back 5 weeks later with nerve damage, and still averaged 2 3-pointers made per game. Like, this stuff fires me up because it ticks me off how some people will just not give themselves any credit, but at the same time, they will see themselves as so unique, such a special little snowflake that deserves everything but can't get anything. Like, it's such a victim mindset, and I don't want you to fall into that. And if you are in that right now, look, man, I'm not mad. It's just like, I want more for you. And I think you want more for yourself as well. So apply yourself fully and actually see what you're capable of, man. I want to invite you to a free group video call with me so I can show you how to increase your scoring average by up to 30% or more in just 8 games. Please ask your parents' permission because they must be on the call with you. And as a bonus gift, just by attending the video call, if you stay till the end, I will give you a 90-day basketball workout plan plus a workout tracker for absolutely free. Join my free school community with the link in the description. Then when you're in that community, you will see the calendar tab. The webinar will be on that calendar. Here are 10 things you can do to dominate your high school basketball tryouts. Let's go. The first thing you could do is show up to the tryout with great conditioning. I'll tell you a little story. When I was a wee little lad, I wasn't little at all, I was a fat kid. So when I was younger, I showed up to a basketball tryout for a team that I made in past years. It was a travel team, and I was on the A team in the past years. Well, this one year, I showed up to the tryout, and I wasn't in good shape. I was fat. And when we had to run 16s, which is side-on to side-on, I wasn't able to do it. And I remember one of the coaches walking up to me and just being like, "Hey, you okay, buddy? You know, you might want to stop." So I did, because I was about to vomit everywhere. And turns out, that coach that walked over to me was the head coach of the A team. He was the new head coach. I made the A team again that year, and I got barely any playing time. The coach did not like me. And you know what? Partly, I think, you know, he had a good reason to, because, well, I just wasn't conditioned, but also it was unfair. Anyway, the next year, I was actually dropped down to the B team because of this mistake. I ended up thriving on there and having one of the best coaches of my life that I'm still in contact with today, but that's besides the point. Be conditioned when you show up to your tryout. The second thing you could do is be useful. See, don't just show up to the tryout and sit in the corner calling for the ball. Hey, I'm open. Pass me the ball. Pass me the ball. Oh my gosh, he's not passing me the ball, bro. Coaches hate that. Be a part of every single play. Hustle on every single play. And when you're on the offensive end, don't just sit there and do nothing. Do everything that you can to be useful on the basketball court. The third thing you can do is be loud. Be loud. If you're on defense, you can help set up your team. Hey, you switch over here. Get this guy. I'll get the paint. You go over here. If you're talking being loud on defense, coaches are going to love that, and they're going to say, man, this kid has heart. He doesn't want to allow easy buckets. I could use him on my team. Or if you're a point guard setting up the offense, hey, man, you go over to this side. Hey, give me a screen. Come up. Go around. Yup. If you're talking that much and you're being loud and you're actually being informative and not just yapping, coaches are going to love that, man. And they're going to see that, and they're going to remember that when they're writing down the names on their clipboards. They're going to say, oh, wait a minute. This kid was talking the whole time, and he was loud. Remember to be loud at your next tryout. My fourth recommendation is very self-explanatory, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Show coachability and leadership. I'm going to talk about coachability first. When your coach is talking, don't talk. Okay? Don't mess around. Don't fool around. I believe that we all know that. But don't just look at him. Like, listen to the words that he says. And be curious about everything that he's saying, because we're students of the game. And everything that he says could potentially help you in your basketball journey. That's why you should listen. And it shows that you want to be here. Right? You're not just showing up to a tryout just because. No, you are here to learn, and you want to be a student of the game. And coaches love to see that. I actually have a couple examples that are in my mind of past tryouts that I've been to. I'm not saying what grade it was from or what year or if it was in high school or not. I'm not going to get into that. But I do remember certain scenarios where there were kids that just weren't paying as much attention. Like, you could just tell they're kind of just in their own world, looking around, you know. Those kids have a very hard time making the team. Very hard time. The second part of this is to show leadership. Now, I understand everybody's built different, right? Everybody has different personality types. Not everybody is a leader, some people say, but I truly believe anybody can be a leader. It's just different leadership styles. Some people are very loud when they're leaders. Some people are very quiet and they lead by example. Whatever it is for you, be that leader, you know? Personally, for me, I would say I'm more of like a outspoken kind of person, and I don't just like to lead by example. I like to boost everybody up. I like to help each other out, like, hey man, that was a good shot. I think if you did this instead, you might actually have a better chance, right? I like to just help out like that. So whatever your leadership style is for you, do that. The fifth thing you can do is questionable. Here's why. I think that it's important for you to talk to the coaches and like introduce yourself, especially if you're an incoming freshman and you've never tried out before, or this is just your first tryout. Because if you shake the coach's hand, you look him in the eyes, hey, how you doing, sir? Hey, how you doing, coach? It's great to be here. Nice to meet you. That can just give you a positive interaction. And honestly, like, there's a lot of names on that clipboard, man, depending on how many people are at your tryout, of course. But there's just a lot of names on there, and there's no meaning attached to any of those names other than just the play, that they see. And 3 days of a basketball tryout, which is usually what it is, 3 days is not enough time to gauge who is actually the best player out there and who is actually going to help the team the most, because it's only 3 days, right? So you might have a couple bad days on the days of the tryouts. So by you just showing your personality, showing that you're coachable, by shaking the coach's hand, being mature, being professional, that might help you out. But do not overdo it, okay? I've seen this a few times as well. Some kids that I know do not work on their game, and they show up to tryouts just hoping to land a spot on the team, and they're over enthusiastic. Hey, how you doing, coach? It's great to meet you. My name is so and so. Like, don't don't do it too much. I'm thinking of actual examples in my head that I cannot say. But so be very careful with this one. Know your coach's personality, right? If you get into the gym and you can see the coach is a bit, I guess, tough, you might not want to do it. But if your coach seems laid back, you can feel it out, do your thing. But this is a questionable one. But if you think it's right, do it. My sixth piece of advice may be my most important. I mentioned this in number 5 as well. Be mature. Coaches don't want to babysit. They want to win basketball games. And if they see you out here being all goofy, joking around with everybody, not listening to the coach, that's going to be a terrible sign for them, and they're not going to want to pick you up on the team. But I will say this. Everybody acts differently, right? I mentioned this before. Everybody's built different. So if you're just overall just a goofy guy, all right, yeah, let your personality show, but maybe wait to let that show until you've already made the team. And don't go too crazy with it. If your coach is talking, shut up. Listen to the coach. If your team is like in a serious conversation in a huddle or something, don't just like you know what to do. All right. The 7th thing you must do at tryouts is be aggressive. Now, this does not mean you be a ball hog. A lesson that I've learned in my basketball journey is that being aggressive and being a ball hog are two completely different things. See, by being aggressive, you can not only set up yourself to score, but also your teammates. By being aggressive, you can drive to the paint really fast and then kick out to an open corner 3 or something like that. Be aggressive, because that will get you in every single play. And that ties into my first lesson of being useful. Lesson number 8, be a team morale guy. This goes along with being loud, okay? But specifically, I want you to build up every single one of your teammates. I know you're competing for a spot. I get it. But if you build them up, if you show that it doesn't even matter to you, you're just confident in your abilities and you just love the game. Hey man, that was a good shot. Keep shooting it. Hey, hey, dust yourself off. It's okay. You'll get the next one. That sort of stuff will show coaches that not only you care about the game and you just want to win at all costs, but you're just going to be a good person to be around. And every team needs a glue guy on their team. They need that Draymond Green. They need that guy that's just going to band everybody together, and you could be that guy for your team. This is the most self-explanatory part of this video. Number 9, hustle. I want you to dive for every loose ball, go up for every rebound, stay low, etc., etc., etc. Do all the dirty work. Do the stuff that nobody else is willing to do, because this is your only chance. You have 3 days at tryouts, so make the most of it. right? If a coach sees somebody that's going to hustle on every single play, I've seen this happen firsthand. There will be some guys that really aren't skilled at basketball. They're what we would call like a raw basketball player. They're raw. They're not very skillful. But just because they give effort on every single play, a lot of them just got picked up on the team because of it. Don't underestimate the power of just hustling. Number 10, have confidence in yourself and trust in your teammates. All right. When you take a shot, I want you to have the confidence that that shot is going in. Now, if a teammate shoots a shot, depending on who the teammate is, it might be hard to have trust in them. So you might have to pretend to trust them. Be like, oh yeah, we like that shot. And then even if it airballs, hey, you got it. Next one. Have trust in other people and have trust in yourself. I've played basketball for over 10 years. And if I could go back to the start, this is what I would do. If I could go back in time, the first thing that I would change is my mindset towards basketball. Your basketball journey isn't like the movies. You will lose a lot. But that's how we improve. And when you lose a 1v1 against that one friend that you could have sworn you were better than, relax. Go back to the drawing board and try again. This is a lesson that took me about 9 years to learn. I learned it in my junior year, and just look at the difference. Sophomore year, 13 varsity points. Junior year, 410. This is what is called the growth mindset. And if you are unsure what a champion's mindset is, this is it. A champion gains wisdom and moves forward through every success and every failure. Now that we are on the same page with the growth mindset, we need to discover our why. Why do you play basketball, bro? There is no right or wrong here. However, some whys are more powerful than others. For example, if your why is, oh, maybe one day I'll get paid, you may give up when the going gets tough. But if your why is because, oh, I love the game and I just want to perfect my craft, you'll take the good with the bad and you'll enjoy the journey so much more. So what is your why? Next up, I wish I used visualizations more. Back when I was a young kid, I visualized basketball all the time. I would just be in my backyard imagining I was in the NBA Finals alongside my favorite players at the time, like Andre Iguodala, Michael Carter-Williams, and Nerlens Noel. Shout out to my real Sixers fans, man. That was a rough time. So when we were younger, we all visualized the game. Whether it be a buzzer beater in the clutch and then you miss and then 3 seconds get magically added to the shot clock and then you make it, right? Like, we visualized. What I didn't figure out until last season, my junior year, I didn't realize how important visualization is. The more you visualize the game, the more your body and mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's in your mind. Which means the way you visualize will be similar to how the games will go. I remember I decided to try it at one point, and after about a week of doing it, I had a game and something in that game happened that I visualized. So as the play was happening, before I even scored, I knew how it was going to go. It was eerily similar to what I thought in my mind. Almost scary in a way. But what that proved to me was that your reality can be shifted by your own thinking.
You know, Patrick, this is a dream. You can do anything you want.
Now, let's talk about goal setting. I made the mistake when I was younger to create these big goals that rely on external factors. An example of a bad goal is this. I will score 25 points in my game today. That's a bad goal due to the fact that you can't control everything. A better goal is I will give it my all and leave nothing on the court. That way, you control your success and failure. Yes, you may give up and fail your goal, or you can stay locked in the whole game and give it your all and succeed. When you set goals for performance, make sure it doesn't rely on external factors. But when you make goals for yourself in training, for example, it's okay to have external factors involved. An example of this goal is, I will practice once a day every day. You may have other events going on in your life that may make it hard for you to train on that day, but you can find a way to squeeze in your workout. For the final part of the foundation, let's talk about time management. I had to learn time management in high school. I had to juggle school, basketball, life in general, and to add on to that, I was doing YouTube. Number 1, learn how to say no. No, I can't hang out today. No, I can't do this thing. I'm busy. No. Number 2, do not multitask. Multitasking will not help you get things done faster. Instead, align your focus to one task at a time. Complete that, then complete the next task. By the way, when you're working on something such as homework, give yourself a timer. When you are on a timer, you naturally get things done faster. I've had moments when I thought my homework would take me over an hour, but I set a timer for only 30 minutes and I got it done within the allotted time. Number 3, this is for school. For school, do work during lunch. I ate during my classes when we were just listening to the teacher and we weren't doing any busy work. I didn't eat during lunchtime. Instead, every day, I went to the school library and studied with teachers. I finished my homework in there too. So there were days when it was tough because I just wanted to chill out, but I knew I wouldn't have time after school to get all that work done, so I made sure to finish it then. Let's move on to part 2. If you master the basketball fundamentals, you'll have an advantage over players that rely solely on their natural athleticism. However, when you are young, you will notice the athletes do better than others just due to pure dominance on the court, and it's such a young age, so don't worry about that. Over the years, spending time with dozens of coaches, I have noticed a constant between them all. Coaches always tell their players, go back to the fundamentals. But what truly are the fundamentals? There are 6 essential fundamental skills every basketball player needs: shooting, finishing, dribbling, passing, rebounding, and defending. Let's break them down. The first fundamental skill we will look at is my favorite, shooting. Alright y'all, real quick, if you want to learn how to shoot a basketball correctly, check out this video I already made about it. It has like 70k views now, which is crazy, but that video will tell you everything that you need to know. And I actually had this planned where I was going to talk for like a half hour about shooting in this video, but it just got too deep to the point where I don't think it was really that important. So check out that video if you need help with shooting. The next skill is finishing. There is a video that explains this better than I ever could, so I linked it in the description, so go check it out. It's for beginners, but I actually learned from it too. Dribbling. If you want to become a great dribbler, here are the basics. The best dribblers are the ones that always have a basketball in their hands. Some of the most underrated training for ball handling is freestyle dribbling. As a ball handler, you should focus on staying low. By staying low, you reduce the time it takes for the ball to hit the ground and come back up to your hand, which gives you more control. Also, if you want to dribble faster, pound the ball. If you want to make a misdirection, don't be afraid to slow yourself down and then speed up. The best fakes are a change of direction and pace. In general, you should keep the ball close to your body for a tight handle. However, there are other instances when you may want to extend the ball out a little bit. For example, if you were attempting an Allen Iverson crossover or something. But both tight dribbles and loose dribbles should be in your bag. Just understand the risk-reward system. Tight dribbles are low risk because it's hard for the defender to steal it, but the reward is that it will be tougher to get by your man or gain separation. Now, for loose dribbles, it is high risk, high reward. High chance of getting the ball stolen and a high chance of catching ankles. By the way, the most common ways to snatch ankles in basketball are from the snatchback and the hezi cross. Constantly experiment with new timings and dribble patterns in your training, and have fun with it. Passing. I made a video explaining how to practice passing by yourself, so check that out if you need it. But there are 3 types of passes: chest pass, bounce pass, and the overhead pass. Chest pass is your standard pass in basketball. Pro tip, when you throw a pass, your thumb should face downwards after the release for speed on the throw. Bounce pass is, well, a chest pass that bounces. The same things apply as the chest pass, just throw the pass so that it bounces and lands in your teammate's hands. Pro tip, when passing to shooters, chest passes work better. As a shooter, it's harder to look down and catch a bounce pass than look up at the rim. It's much easier to just catch a chest pass and shoot. The overhead pass. Some coaches may disagree that this is not a fundamental pass, but I think it should be. I love to use the overhead pass as a zip pass. It is unexpected for defenses and you can get a lot of power behind it. However, I have gotten in trouble with my coach for this past, so be careful. Rebounding. I had an amazing coach when I was much younger who taught me how to play like a dog. I actually still keep in contact with him, and he actually went to one of my games in my sophomore year, and that just so happened to be my buzzer beater. But anyway, he taught me how to box out larger players as a small guard. The goal is to get so low that your butt pushes their knees so far back it goes out of place. Of course, this is not possible. Or at least I don't think. But pushing on the knees of big men actually helps in boxing them out. It's worth a try for sure. Rebounding is all about heart. Height helps, but you can help yourself out and your team out by hustling on every rebound attempt. Who knows? You might just get the rebound. Boxing out is, in simple terms, putting your body in between the rim and the man you are boxing out. Focus on boxing out your man first, then get the ball. Don't try to get the ball before boxing somebody out, because that's just going to lead to so many problems. Unless the ball is right in front of you or something, but use your judgment. Defense. There is a phrase, the low man wins. On defense, you should stay low and slide your feet. Stay on the balls of your feet, not your toes and not your heels. When you go for a steal, the best time to reach for the ball is when the ball is the furthest distance from an offensive player's hands. Remember how I mentioned with ball handling to stay low to reduce the time the ball is not in your hands? This is why. For example, if your man dribbles the ball while standing straight up and the ball is in between the floor and his hand, reach. It's timing. As we all know, if you want to be a great defender, be a pest. Hustle on every possession. The difference between good players and great players are the little tweaks that the great players implement that the good players don't even think about. As you get more advanced as a basketball player, that doesn't mean you should do crazy drills and super complex training regimens. No, like, you see that stuff in the movies, okay? Like, no. The great players are great because of how they simplify the game, right? Watch the best basketball players in the world work out. Their workout routines are simple, but that does not mean they are easy. So instead of thinking you need to make sure your workouts are more complex and I gotta have a cone over here and have a fan that blows the cone away and then pick up the cone, like, that's ridiculous, right? Put yourself under the microscope and analyze every detail of your game and fix the little bad habits you have to level up. One of the most frustrating things to deal with as an athlete are plateaus. It feels like all your training is for nothing, and maybe there's something wrong with your training, or even worse, you think there's something wrong with you. I've been there, and I used to get so discouraged when I reached a plateau. Now, in case you don't know what a plateau is, it is a state of little or no change following a period of activity or progress. So when I was younger, this used to piss me off. I couldn't grasp the concept of not seeming to improve when I was working so hard. But as I got older, I realized every plateau is just a sign of exponential growth. After every plateau, I have been blown away by how fast it feels like everything clicks. You just have to get through that plateau. And I know it's tempting to change your training, but oftentimes it's not a problem with you or your training. It's just something that happens to athletes. And I don't know the science behind it, but it happens. So during those plateaus, stay confident and keep working hard. There's a quote, "It's lonely at the top." I believe that couldn't be further from the truth. It is not lonely at the top. When you're at the top, people know who you are. People congratulate you saying, "Oh, I knew you could always do it," and blah, 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 right? But truly, it is lonely on the road to the top. On this road, nobody is celebrating with you. Like, what's to celebrate about? Nobody is congratulating you. What do they have to congratulate you for? And most of all, you'd be lucky if anyone believes in you. You have to get used to doing the work when nobody is applauding you or telling you good job. You have to be self-motivated and self-driven. you have to be okay with being alone with yourself too.
Hey man, it's 5:15 in the morning. I'm out here, about to get some work in before school. I want this to be a routine now. I don't want this to be the only time. I haven't been doing too well in these games, so I have to change that, and this is what I need to do. So I've been doing well in the fitness part. I've been going to all the weight rooms and everything and getting a lot stronger, but my skill set is starting to, it's lacking now. So hey, I'm out here, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired as anything, but I know this is what I need to do if I really want to succeed. And look, I'm going to do anything I can to succeed. I will not let myself lose. Alright, I gotta get to work.
I spent a lot of time on my own working on my game that I had to learn how to love myself because if I didn't, those would be long workouts, I'll tell you that. So what you have to learn is how to be your own best friend. Learn how to have fun by yourself because you are with you 24/7. You know all your secrets and all your lies. You know all the good things you've done and all the bad. So you can either be your own worst enemy or your own best friend. Your choice. Now, this is something that took me 10 years to learn, so please listen up. I was always told by people, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. But I never believed it. I assumed unsuccessful people were just parroting that message to deal with the pain of never getting what they wanted, but I was stupid for thinking that. I only learned it after I got what I wanted. I got the first team all-conference honors. I got the team MVP. I got the player of the week and other accolades, but after getting the awards, you know what I thought in my mind? Is this it? I am telling you, bro. The plaques and the trophies on their own mean nothing to me. Nothing. But the reason why I cherish them now is because of the hard work and dedication it took to get here. They are a testament to what I have done, with the help of amazing teammates and great coaches. By the way, I wouldn't have been able to do what I have done without them, so thank you guys, I love y'all, and all glory to God. Jesus Christ is King, and He deserves all the glory. Now, I'm a senior now, and I know my time in high school is running out. By the way, yes, high school goes by fast. I didn't believe that either. But now, little things bring me back to the past. One of those things is the smell of cleaning supplies in my school. It brings me back to the times when I worked out early in the mornings and late at night and, after everybody left. And time is the most valuable asset we have. So please value it. The journey is so much more fulfilling than the destination. It really is. And what is the destination? Like, is the destination the day you get to say, well, I achieved everything I wanted to achieve in basketball, so now I'm done? Like, done? I wish I could go back to the start. Enjoy the game while you're still playing it, man. And don't look forward to the day when you have to hang it up. You must do the work of loving yourself and not loving the results you may or may not get. Also, loving God and having faith are essential to being fulfilled. Because no matter how much you love yourself, it still won't fulfill that void in your heart the same way God will. Please research both sides, science and God. Find the truth, please. The truth is that God made science because He made all of creation. I at one point thought God didn't exist, and until I did a lot of digging and I realized that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and nobody gets to the Father except through Him. Can I get an amen? Oh, man. But in all seriousness, bro, like, Jesus Christ will help you with that void you feel in your heart. And you just have to ask. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Just try praying one time and ask God to help you out, and have faith that He will. And then be grateful that you did. One of the turning points in my research was actually from Give Me an Answer by Stuart and Cliff Connectel. So, Cliff Connectel? Check it out if you're interested, alright? My favorite movies of all time are the Rocky movies. And in Rocky 3, Apollo Creed rest in peace Carl Weathers, says to Rocky,
You had that eye of the tiger, man, the edge. And now you got to get it back. And the way to get it back is to go back to the beginning.
you need to keep that eye of the tiger. Keep that hunger alive, man. If you've ever heard the song Eye of the Tiger from that movie, one of the lyrics is something that I say to myself all the time. Don't change your passion for glory. Once basketball is no longer about just having fun and improving, but it's about the rewards and accolades, the game is dead. It can be hard to avoid complacency after success. However, if your why in the beginning of your journey was strong enough, the success will not be the reason why you started. It's just icing on the cake. In basketball and in life, a lot of things are out of your control. But if basketball taught me anything, it is this. You have a better chance at winning the game by focusing on what you can control. You may not be able to control your opponent catching fire or an injury puts you out, but you control how you react to it. I hope this video provided value to at least one of you out there, and man, I wish I had this video growing up. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and make sure to thank yourself for taking the time to watch this video and taking notes. But as always, keep God first. Good luck, bro.